Today I'm listening to a piece by Canadian composer Jordan Nobles. It's our first Jordan Nobles piece. I have a lot of his scores because he did this like audio or the spatial music workshop. And I guess because I applied to it, I was invited to attend this sessions, even though I didn't actually get into the workshop. So, anyways, I attended the first session and he gave everyone a bunch of scores. So I have all these scores of his. A number of them are for variable or open instrumentation. So that's why we're getting to them in this series. This one is called Chiaroscuro, and it's an open score for spatialized chamber ensemble, which implies instruments. Originally premiered in 2014. Uh, this revised version was premiered in 2019. The program note is just this quote of Ursula K. Le Guin: "To light a candle is to cast a shadow." It can be performed by any mixed chamber ensemble of at least five or more players, uh, with the intention of orchestral instruments mainly. There is no score for the work, only parts. Each musician is given various cells to perform. They can play them in any order, even switching among them as desired, but they must play each note at the designated time according to a stopwatch or a timer. So everybody has a stopwatch on stage. What cells to play and when to play them should be decided by each musician independently. Players can pause at any time to breathe or listen to the rest of the ensemble. Recommended duration is 10 minutes, but that's also open. It's spatialized, so it should be around the audience, like this nice graphic here. And I guess he does have parts for specific instruments. So yeah, I guess it could be any. Well, let's just go through the parts to see what he's given here. So there's a guitar part, a vibraphone part, a piano part, a glockenspiel part, a piccolo part, alto flute, bass flute, oboe, English horn, clarinet and B flat, bass clarinet, bassoon, trumpet, trombone, violins, viola, cello, and bass. So I guess it could be any combination of those instruments. So any number of them. It's pretty specific, actually. Just glancing at the parts. So the guitar, for example, has these chords to play. Um, and it's sort of laid out in a grid, right? So it's like you can play any one of these chords at 0 seconds, and then you move on to the next column. And then you could also play these augmented triads, I guess. Uh, You can start any minute into the piece, but if it has like a colon 20 above it, you can only start like 20 seconds after the minute, right? So everyone's entrances are going to be like i- 10 seconds after, or 20 seconds after, or 30 seconds after, right? In these intervals of 10. But it can go on for however many minutes you want, I guess is the point. Um, and then he sort of indicates like some of these things can go on indefinitely, or some of them you only play them once. Some of them should you arpeggiate them for around 10 to 20 seconds. Um, so I guess that sort of gives you a sense of how it progresses. It's sort of like 10 seconds is kind of like the minimal interval at which things occur. So quite slow. And every part seems to have a combination of these things, like chords, which you just play once, arpeggios, which you do for a certain amount of time, and then sometimes they get melodies or pulses, which also last a certain number of 10 seconds. Um, yeah, it's definitely unique. It looks pretty creative. Obviously, the instruments that can't play chords, they have long tones. It looks like some of the wind instruments have um, multiphonics they can play, but it's not notated in a way where you're given a fingering, so I'm not sure if those are multiphonics or what. Looks like the trombone will be sliding around a bit, possibly. The strings don't have much other than single notes, so they're going to be more like long held tone kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know what this is gonna look like in performance. I think the recording on YouTube is over half an hour long. I think it would be cool to do this with like 10 guitars or something like that instead. 10 guitars and one piccolo or just something weird. But I don't think that's the way that traditionally it's been performed. At least I don't know, even know if there's more than two performances of it out there. I think this is the revised one. Um, so yeah. Oh yeah, this is also our first Jordan Nobles episode, so let me pull up his biography. Juno Award winning composer, Jordan Nobles. If you're not aware, the Junos are just like the Grammys, but for Canada. He is known for creating music filled with an unearthly beauty that makes listeners want to close their eyes and transcend into a cloud of music. You won the Azrieli Music Prize in 2024, a Juno Award in 2017, a Western Canada Music Award in 2018, uh, this other competition slash festival in Australia, uh, and he received an award, prestigious award from SOCAN, which is a performing rights organization. It's the equivalent of ASCAP in Canada. And yeah, as far as I can tell, he's sort of been like based in Vancouver his whole life. Um, I guess, yeah, just living off of commissions and awards. Uh, a lot of these awards are from like the oldest ones are from like 2011 or so. He's an associate of the Canadian Music Center and a member of the Canadian League of Composers. Um, yeah, and then if you look at his performances, I think there's a lot of choir stuff. His CV doesn't say much about his education, at least not what I'm seeing here. So he seems more focused on presenting, like, his discography, which is actually all of it is on Redshift Records, and his performances and uh, his catalogs here at the end. Lots of variable duration stuff. Um, so I imagine a lot of those are longer length performances. Yeah, I he seems like an interesting guy. We're gonna listen to a lot more of his music because I do have a lot of his scores. So I guess this will be the sort of introduction to it. Um, for those of you outside of Canada, maybe this will be a nice window into the Vancouver contemporary music scene. I'll just put a link to this recording in the video description for those interested. And the rest of the video today, as always, is going to be my thoughts after hearing it for the first time with the score. Okay, so my thoughts on this recording. I think it was pretty chill. Not very easy to follow along with the score, so I didn't really bother. It's just a bunch of parts. I think it'd be a really unique experience to hear it spatialized around you, around oneself. It got a little, I mean, the one thing that kind of unified the piece, might have made it a bit repetitive for some, was just the fact that every Sonic event started like 10 seconds at a time, right? Every 10 seconds there was some sort of Sonic event, which I think was more successful when it was like uh, little like glockenspiel and vibraphone things towards the end, when it's like just a scattering of notes that are vibrating and they all have a sharp attack. It kind of works. When it's just like a sustained chord, I don't feel like it works as much. So, I mean, take that opinion as you want. It may inform how you decide to program this piece if you do. Um, this is what the album looks like. Um, I guess Redshift Records is closely affiliated with Jordan Nobles. This was funded by the Canada Council for the Arts and Factor, which is um, yeah, I forget what the abbreviation is for Factor, but they fund all kinds of music production type things in Canada. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Chiaroscuro, a pretty evocative title and piece. Um, and I think it fits neatly into the variable slash open instrumentation series, kind of a unique approach with just the parts and no score kind of thing. Um, the piece tomorrow, I think, is another Yamane piece. So, yes, we're looking at her text score Kawaii.